Should be a couple. Cheteshwar Pujara realizing that he has an opportunity.
Baba. Huh?
I like the way that the bowlers, especially led by Nigel Islam, have realized very quickly that you attack the stumps. It's not spraying outside the off stump. Not going too much down the leg side. Yes, it's still a very new ball. Just in the fifth over, we had the spinners coming in for Bangladesh.
Five fielders on the onside, 4 medium circle for the right-hander. The line of attack moved your middle leg. This was a little bit down the leg side, so easy pickings, just flicking it away for a couple of more runs. And you have this field that strong on the onside, and you've got to get your line and lengths right. Yeah, it's a little bit wide, isn't it? Down the leg side.
And most bowlers try to go towards the middle stump, especially the off-spinner, just to get that forward shot like fielder in play. That pad or a ball rising up of length, possibly to get the ball to rise maybe towards the forward shot like fielder, or have a false shot come through. And they feel that Mehdi Maraz is turning the ball well enough, so they're strengthening the onside field. Shot mid-wicket again. Shakib Al Hasan coming closer to the batter. 95 for 3.
বাংলাদেশের সর্বাধিক ব্যবহৃত পানির ট্যাঙ্ক গাজী ট্যাঙ্ক, গাজী প্রথম, গাজী সেরা।
Partnership developing for India, 47 of 51. A chance going down in the very first over after the lunch break. It's back with about it. Very rarely do you see Rishabh Pant trying to place 2 strokes and be double-minded with his approach in stroke play. Nice one for Ibadat. Not offering any width to Rishabh Pant.
Just a hint of movement off the surface coming back and could have easily gone on to hit the stumps. Well, luck's certainly not going his way towards Ibadat Hussain. But I like the way he started his spell. Remember, he created the chance in the very first over, and even in the first delivery in this over, he's attacked the stumps.
Yeah, and that's the consistency that you've been talking about, that they need to be. The pace is there with 140 Ks for Ibadat Hussain, but just have a look at where he's pitched that ball, the percentage, the cluster is between the short and good length. So it's most of the back of the length deliveries, and on this surface, which allows stroke play, you've got to be very careful with your length. A couple of them just getting pitched up, creating the chances. And just stay clear of the fuller ball, which is a nice driving length. So the ball which was a nice one for Cheteshwar Pujara. Seeing exactly how the batter is trying to dominate. counter balls do come in, but the fact that Shakib would have been happier had his bowler pitched up that ball slightly further up, especially when it was new. Because with that old ball or the semi-new ball, there's more control with Ibadat Hussain. That control was required right at the start.
And he created a chance when he bowled a fuller delivery. That's what we are discussing. Yes, there was a boundary, but he also bowled a fuller delivery when he induced that outside edge. So even if you're bowling with a semi-old ball, you can still pitch it up and see whether the batters take the weight. Yes, it's a very good pitch to bat on. And when you do get set, you back yourself up to go and play aggressive-looking shots. That should have been taken. But just might be a very costly miss.
And what this spraying does allow or does not allow a captain is to have settled field. In the five balls that Ibadat has bowled, thrice Shakib Al Hasan has changed his field. A slip fielder comes in, goes out. A short mid wicket comes in, goes out. So you got to be on the same page or the wavelength as a captain, as a bowler, know exactly what you're trying to bowl and to which batter. You can only try. 96 for 3.
প্রথমবার বা বারবার 30 মিনিটে প্রতিবার
Eagle.
32 for Rishabh Pant, 20 for Pujara. Mehdi Azam Miraz continues. He's not gonna let the short ball even make an impression on himself. That's Rishabh Pant.
Brings up the 50 partnership and 100 comes up for India. It's a poor delivery and you're not going to get away with it if you're especially bowling to someone like Rishabh Pant. He's put that away for the boundary.
Such an interesting batter he is. And shots like these are played by the batter. Just takes the pressure off. The very next ball he steps out to the off spinner. He's always getting the bowler to guess what is the stroke that he's going to come up with or what's his mindset. Cheteshwar Pujara's contribution is just 16 in this 52 run stand. And having said that, there's no pressure on Pujara because runs are actually coming from the other end, 100 already on the board for India.
And I also feel it's a really good move to send him up the order at number 5 to negate the spinners, Tajul Islam and Shakib Al Hasan. That's the reason why Miraj is in the attack, but he's already taken him on. You talk about easing of the pressure, and if he bats like that, it certainly does that. Much comfortable for the non-striker to see him scoring runs and scoring runs from the other end. 100 for 3.
2 for 34 in his 10 overs, Taijul Islam. Came in immediately after Shakib bowled just the lone over. And just as impressive he has been as you know him to be for Bangladesh in Test match cricket.
And he's made the right adjustments. I'm sure when they went in for the lunch break, the seam bowling coach for Bangladesh, Alan Donald, must have had a long chat with his seamers, Abadat Hussain and Khalid Ahmed, just to let them know that don't be afraid to pitch it up. And you could see the adjustment in the last couple of overs. He's started to bowl a little bit fuller. Nearly did the trick in his very first over after lunch. He's got past the bat also. What was that? Such a good delivery, produces a defensive stroke, and then sloppy. Very, very sloppy.
Nurul Hassan wasn't ready. The harsh one for the keeper. Nothing's happened. Pace on that ball helps Rishabh Pant. Gets another boundary of Ibadat Hussain.
Well, he's got only himself to blame. He produced a defensive shot. Pujara would have been on strike, then he just threw it away, overthrows. Have a look at that shot. That is a cracking shot of the back foot. And just wide and short, asking to be hit. And Rishabh Pant does the rest.
Now, such has been the difficulty for both the seamers to adjust to the left and right combination. And that's why catches, when they come by, become of great importance and value. You see Rishabh Pant, the change of line and length, or rather happening, not happening as well. An over which could have been possibly a 1 run over or a 2, or even a maiden, has actually gone so far for 5. And the man they were trying to create pressure on has gone onto the non-striker end. I don't really think they're trying to bowl balls to Rishabh Pant to get him out. It's just at this point of time it seems that it's a very nice situation where you can have a quiet Rishabh Pant at the other end.
And to do that, you've got to be spot on in terms of your lines and lengths. That's not easy if the left-handed, right-hander are in the middle. The crossover for a single, the field changes completely.
5 runs of the over, 105 for 3.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
Greenway round in Chattogram. Nice city. Very different to Dhaka. The basic difference being the traffic. Such a nice thing when you don't get stuck in traffic.
In the morning, we cruised along, didn't we? just left before the team was. Oh yeah, they'll reach in about 15 minutes. Really smooth, no traffic at all. Early morning. Right. Partnership now just getting bigger. 58 of 71. So Shakib needs to think. No full toss. And he's hit it for the maximum. What a shot that is. From Rishabh Pant. His second six of the innings.
And his 50th in Test cricket. That's Rishabh Pant. Quickest player to get to 56s in Test match cricket. That is for India, of course. Played on. That's the breakthrough that Bangladesh was waiting for. And has it done too much? Or will Rishabh Pant look back and say, I could have offered a better stroke?
That is a big blow. Radius and Miraj getting hit for the maximum, comes back and bowls Rishabh Pant. Yeah, it should have been on the front foot, inside edge, and then the ball lodges onto the stumps. Well, it's not a good shot to play off the back foot. It should have been on the front foot, but he has to go. Gone for 46. India 4 down for 112.
The fourth wicket has fallen for India in the form of Rishabh Pant. Comes in Shreyas Iyer, another very talented player. 100 on debut as well. And he can create another massive score in front of his name. He has all the time in the world to doing that as well. But at this point of time, it's Bangladesh spinners who put the brakes on for India. Outside edge again. This is the pressure that you come in just before facing your first ball in Test match cricket. That too after a break.
Yes.
Just a little bit wider from Yasir Ali in the slips. Just a little bit wide. For an off spinner, you could see that the Yasir Ali being in the slips a little bit closer to the keeper, anticipating the ball coming back in. So it goes a little bit finer. Good numbers here for him. Very good average.
116 for 4.
পথের জন্যই তো চলার জন্য পথের জন্যই তো চলার জন্য এই পথ কখনো নিয়ে যায় গন্তব্যে, কখনো পথটাই হয়ে যায় গন্তব্য। কেউ খোঁজে পথের দিশা, কেউ এ পথেই খুঁজে পায় নিজেকে। এ পথে কেউ হারাবে, কেউ এ পথেই চিনবে। যতদিন চাকা ঘুরবে ততদিন পথ চলবে। এই পথ চলা হোক নিরাপদ। গাজী টায়ারের সাথে।
So another wicket after lunch have given the ascendancy back to Bangladesh. Wickets falling, three of them earlier, and now Shaya in the middle alongside Pujara. Ibadat has been good after lunch. He's been more consistent in his line and length. It's a little cloudy early on, Augie.
Yeah, just going back to the first session, but that's part. He was the aggressor. He was moving the test match forward. And that's why he's such a good inclusion in this team, because he can take on spin, change the game, get the momentum going. But sometimes it has to come to an end as such. But it was a good innings. He would have liked to have done a little bit more.
They have made the batters think.
You know, on this type of pitch, you need someone like a Rishabh Pant. 46 off 45 deliveries. It's very tough to score out in the middle. And he was able to play with ease, while Pujara at the other end was just nudging, looking for the ones and twos, not being assertive. So you need that good mix, that balance in your team. Rahul Dravid, as well as Rahul himself, will be disappointed that Pant couldn't spend a little longer out the middle.
Just tried a short one. Didn't really climb up, not too much bounce off the track here. Interesting in the previous over, Mehdi Hasan Miraj getting the wicket, prize wicket. This is the full toss. Was put away, Disdain, and then suddenly he's not quite sure of the length. Tried to come down in a hurry, but that ball getting the toe end and get a little bit of a deflection onto the stumps, and a big strike. Good comeback from Mehdi Hasan. Nice ellipse. Talking about Jyotisha Pujara, Augie, I think he's a little circumspect. Had that life almost caught behind. He's lucky to be still there. So he's taking it easy at the moment.
Very lucky Pujara not to be caught in the first over of this second session. But I've been very impressed with the pace bowlers. Yes, with the new ball, they tried things. They tried to get the ball moving. They tried to get it seaming. A little bit wayward in doing that.
As you said, you know, they've just fallen into a nice channel.
Yeah, so they tried to utilise the new ball as much as they possibly could, but then realised it's not going to work for them. There's not much life in the pitch, so then they've just gone to a stump-to-stump line. Got a ring field and try to build as much pressure as they possibly can from one end. And that pressure that the quick bowlers are building from that one end is creating havoc out the other end for the spinners to really get on top of this Indian batting lineup.
Oh, just opened the face. That should have been stopped. That slipped through. Unlucky for the bowler. You can see rueful smile. 120 for 4.
Mahidi going out 6.75 runs and over. That was because of Pant being very aggressive. And that's why India will be disappointed that Pant has lost his wicket to the right arm spinner.
Well, things have not been made easy by some good bowling by Mehdi Hasan Miraj. The sign of a good bowler is coming back even when you're under duress. See, even the length, they're not quite sure of dropping just in front. So it's making the batters always ponder, particularly about the lack of purchase. They're not quite sure if the ball's going to turn. Some seem to have the off spinner, the top spinner going, just keeps on going after pitching. It's going down the left side, maybe a little bit of back to that one. Ambles the single. Chatasha Pujara was at ease.
Jara, right on the ball. Not throwing his hands at it, just letting it come to him, and that's why it's died so quickly and hasn't carried through that slips cord. It's frustrating for the bowler, I know.
Yeah, it's just in the right gaps and the slips. Definitely intended with the soft hands. That's how you garners his runs. Change of the field. Just coming to the slip one, into the short mid-wicket. One at just back of the square. Oh, now that could be a little dangerous. Just coming down to the pitch of the ball, trying to smother the spin.
The cover that they've got in place now, Pujara is not really renowned for his big driving, so bring that cover in a little closer. Try and get Pujara to hit a little harder through that region. Might get the Gordon bowled or bring that short mid-wicket into play.
What he's trying is really going to the pitch of the ball. In on a spot of bother, 121 for 4. নিরাপদ হোক পথ চলা।
ধন্যবাদ ভাই, সবাই একটু লিঙ্কটা শেয়ার করে দেন প্লিজ, আর একটু সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দিন ভাই, অনুগ্রহপূর্বক সবাই একটু সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দিন আর একটু শেয়ার করে দিন।
Akif has marshaled his troops very well. Surprisingly, just bowled the single over himself, realizing that maybe a better option to bring on Taijul, and that paid dividends right away. And after their little wayward start, both the pace bowlers have fallen into a tight line, so he can afford, Shakib can afford to have pace from one end, giving support to the spinners at the other. Haven't allowed the Indian batters to have it all their own way. 2 slips in a gully in position now. And a little tentative, just a touch more bounce off the track, I thought, on that occasion.
The effort ball is bowled beautifully, getting the ball to move in the air and off the wicket as well. Has found a little bit of life out in the centre here in Chittagong.
Yes, and his realization that the captain has given him 2 slips. He's going to try that corridor of uncertainty. This is pitched further up and noisily behind that, maybe not really getting it to time right off the bat, but enough. But good to see the change in the lengths attempted there by the bowler.
Slightly quicker ball too. Effort ball. Pretty sure he would have wanted that slightly shorter than what it was. That just looked as though it didn't get off that half, or off that half volley length either, Shamim.
And that's the doubt that's going to be on the mind of the batters, with the balls keeping shade low, not really coming up to the height anticipated from a certain length. Oh, beauty. Cut him in half. Must have been pretty close to that stump.
He's beaten the outside edge, and then he's gone and delivered the straighter one. Career side just caught on the crease. The pitch is up and down. There's a little bit of movement. You've got to get as far forward as you possibly can.
Both batters had that problem of not really gauging the length. It's short or comfortable enough for him to use the depth of the crease, coming right behind it. But this has been a good over so far. 123 for 4 at the moment. Batters to come for India. Ravichandran Ashwin, Akshay Patel, and Kuldeep Yadav. They're playing with 5 bowlers. That's something that will be something to ponder about. Of course, Siraj and Umesh to follow after those.
Two batters to come, Ashwin and Patel. I think in these conditions, they've got some quality there. Ashwin's got 100 under his belt and can handle the bat. Patel, very confident batter as well, so they have that luxury in India of having depth in their batting, but also having extra strength for their bowling.
Nice. A good stop. 1, 2, 3 for 4.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
Aerial view of the Zuhur Ahmad Chaudhary Stadium here in Chattogram, the port city. Nice conditions for a test match. There's a man who's in top of his cricket in the one-day format, just carrying it on to the longer format. Their son Miraj has been very impressive. Even when he was put under a little bit of pressure on occasions by the batters, he's come back with something special. Has made them go back to the hut. It's quite a nice tussle going on in the middle at the moment. Now that's something that has been trying, even in the last over, trying to go down the wicket.
He's trying to get as far forward as he possibly can because they've got the leg slip in play as well as the bat pad. The further down the pitch you get, the less those two particular fielders are going to come into play.
There would be an element of risk now. There's a change in that area. The fielder going to sort of orthodox mid-wicket. Just a change in personnel more than positions. Not quite ready. But this is where Chatisha Pujara has got to be a little wary because of the dip that he sometimes creates and the topspin that he's been generating. Smuggling quite comfortably on that occasion.
Bowling to Pujara as a spinner, you know he's going to come down the wicket. The reason why he's coming down the wicket is to try and cover the spin, but he's not looking to attack you.
Every time you can see the initial trigger movement of the front foot going forward even before the ball is delivered. So as a bowler, if you're watching that, try and maybe entice him to come further forward, give it a little bit more of a loop for the sharp fall of the ball. Once again.
As a bowler, someone charging you, someone like a punt, you know when he charges you, he's going to try and do some damage. But Jara is not much of a threat. So you still feel comfortable. You don't feel under pressure, even though he's making that movement, because he's not hurting you on the scoreboard.
It's a maiden over. 1, 2, 3 for 4.
প্রথমবার বা বারবার 30 মিনিটে প্রতিবার।
Well, the wickets falling in a cluster at 41, 45 and 48, and then the partnership. Rishabh Pant, Jara, some fight back, but then that very important wicket of Rishabh Pant was looking quite ominous. Another rebuilding work going on for India at the moment. Rights that nicely.
There's a bit of cat and mouse between Mahidi and Van. Van was willing to get bored when the opportunity was created. He put him away, but going forward on that good length, then going back when it was slightly fuller, was his demise.
He was not reading the length properly because most of them were on a similar kind of length. What he did was to just hold that top spinner we were talking about earlier. Just keeps on going. Just rolls his fingers over and more often than not lands on the seam and just keeps just shooting on and also skid on. That can be disconcerting for the batter as we saw. Very wily. And the way he bowls maybe Hasan Miraj. He's got good support from the other end also because you need that partnership from the two bowlers to build up, to continue. You cannot afford to just allow batsman freebies. That was deviating down leg, but once again, not really on top of it, not really timing it. There were gaps in that onside that couldn't put it through one of those gaps.
Beautiful city, Chattagong. A lot of greenery around the harbour city.
Nicely behind that, good looking shot. Just for the single though. And a couple of runs, yes, good running. Now that's committed running. That is very good. Maybe a better throw, grab them in a spot of bother.
Oh, someone get behind the stumps from Bangladesh, please. If someone was behind the stumps, that would have been a lot closer. You could count that as a chance for Bangladesh.
Yeah, just maybe it's touch and go about it. It's just watching things. It's not behind. Look at this. Oh dear. That would have been curtains. Very fortunate. A direct throw. Even as you said, someone behind would have ample time to whip off the bails. There's no one really right behind him. Ibadat was a little bit away. Didn't anticipate that second run. That's why he didn't come behind the stumps.
You can't anticipate. You've got to anticipate the positive that will happen, the chances of getting a wicket. You heard that they're coming back for two. He stood there for a couple of seconds in the middle of the pitch. It didn't even show assertiveness to get back behind the stumps. And if you get back behind the stumps, it's a bigger target for the fielder to look at as well. Makes it easier for the throw.
Well, we are at the port city of Chittagong. Very lovely place to be in, near the Bay of Bengal. The cloud, the kites there next to the bay, that's the Patenga beach. We've got lots of light-rage vessels in the background, local delicacies, and you have a huge crowd in the beach virtually every day, particularly in this season. It's lovely, and the sunset is so very nice, and they all love you. Love Chittagong, love Shakib. Right behind once again, 125 for 4. Pujara, once again, interesting for the bowler. He knows that Pujara is not too comfortable with reading the lengths, particularly at the moment. When you show your intents a little too early to the bowler, that gives the advantage, the opportunity. Just change, just pull it back, or push it forward. Stands still this time, waits for it to come on. Cat and mouse going on between the two.
As far forward as he can, because there's not much bounce on this pitch, and if he gets caught, trapped, playing from the crease and it wraps him on the pad in front, it's definitely not going to be over those stumps. So the further you get forward, if you go past that 2.5 metre area, then the umpires don't make the decision if it's got to be a review, because it's too far forward for Hawkeye to work out whether it's going to hit the stumps or not.
Oh, yes! Got him in a bit of a tangle, really trying to find a way out to get some runs, but it's been so much accuracy from Mehdi Hassan Miraj that Chatushay Pujara has not been given the opportunity. Pressure building, 26 of 66 deliveries. Once again, use of the feed. Once again, no opportunity for a run.
You can just feel the pressure building right now. 11 balls in a row. Pujara hasn't been able to score off Mahidi.
Another maiden. 125 for 4. Shash Iyer on 8, Chatushay Pujara on 26, 125 for 4. It's been a tight session in terms of the bowling department. One wicket falling, not many runs given. Khalid Ahmed, who also bowled a decent second spell, going to come back on. It was a maiden, just the 17 runs and a wicket. Very crucial wicket. And look at the economy rate, 2.12, very parsimonious.
He worked it out very quickly that he wasn't going to get much assistance off this pitch and in the air as well. He went to boring line and length, just attacking the stump the stump, and then threw one wide for Rahul to try and hit through a gap in point. Rahul took the bait, got the inside edge. Khaled got the big wicket. Bowled.
Kane just trying to find the gap by trying to open the face of the bat. So continuation of accuracy from Khalid Ahmed after replacing Ibadat Hussain. Well, that's a new road, Augie, being built from the center of town past the stadium onto the Marine Drive that you came by, and everyone's so appreciating. So that'll reduce the distance to the international airport by quite some way, and that's going to be another good addition to the road system here in Chattogram.
We'll be up and running in a couple of days, Shabim, so I can sleep in. Next time I've got to catch the plane back to Dhaka.
I think you're going to have to come back for something else. I don't think it's going to happen this time around. You can take a walk on it. No worries. Just take a walk up to the seaside. Enjoy the Marine Drive. Lots to see. There's a bay terminal coming up there. We'll be very busy very, very soon. A lot of development work going on around Chattogram and all around the country. Oh, tentative, to say the least. The bustling city of Chattogram is the commercial center with a busy port, as we're talking about. Rustic surrounds of this ground, which is pretty good these days with all the big rises. You tend to see lesser green, but Chattogram has got all these hillocks and hills all around for you to go and venture and relax in. Driving, but once again straight to the fielder. Not being allowed to get away. The pressure building by the minute.
Ringfields, stump-to-stump bowling. Ball not coming onto the bat. It's getting tougher and tougher for the batters. They try and find a way just to put pressure back on the Bangladesh bowlers here, India. Otherwise they could get caught in a big, big trap later on today.
These two have the temperament, particularly Cheteshwar Pujara, Shreyas Iyer, to play the long innings. They can bide their time. That's what's all about, is taking advantage of anything loose, and a half stop there allows the single to be taken.
That's normally easy pickings for Shreyas Iyer, but it just shows how tough the wicket is out in the middle with the ball not coming on. Polly, a better wicket. Just smashed that through that mid-wicket region.
Yeah, of course, credit to the bowlers too, in realization of the fact of the nature of the bounce off the wicket. 125 for 4.
বন্ধু ভাই পিভিসি পাইপ কোনটা কিনবো?
গাজী পিভিসি পাইপ লও। বাজারে আসার পর থেকে খালি গাজী আর গাজী।
কিন্তু কয়দিন আর টিকবো?
অবশ্যই টিকবো। গাজীর পণ্য 20 বছর ধরে কোয়ালিটিতে সেরা।
সর্বোৎকৃষ্ট কাঁচামালে তৈরি গাজী পিভিসি পাইপ, আগাগোড়া মজবুত, বাংলাদেশের সেরা পাইপ।
গাজী প্রথম, গাজী সেরা।
গাজী গ্রুপ।
Impressive bowling performance here by Bangladesh. 2 for 34 Taijul. Mehdi, Khalid chipping in. Important wickets. Keeping the batters quiet at the moment. Post lunch, the bowlers have been good. The fielding has been tight.
It's been a drop catch by Nur Hassan. But other than that, they've been on their toes. It's been very accurate bowling from both ends, from the pacers Ibadat and Khalid, and of course Mehdi Hassan Miraj. It's a continuation of that tussle between the two. He'll be happy with what's transpired. But once it goes back, the ball tends to keep low. Klaus getting a run after quite a few deliveries.
Just a little short of it. Not getting up. This is day one. We're only halfway into the second session.
Even Shresh Ayai is not going to find the ball coming on, keeping it tad low. That's the problem for the Indian batters at the moment. Bangladesh, understandably, exploiting the conditions, and why not? Oh, tentative, didn't know where that went. Inside part of the bat, maybe. It's trickling away for some fortuitous runs. But he wasn't very happy with that shot.
Well, the shot before, he shaped a sweep and then defended. And this shot, he's just planted that front foot in one position, and then it's a little wider than he was expecting. And playing away from his body. So Sri Sai just preempting against the right arm off spinner at the moment. And that preemptation is causing a bit of difficulty.
Yes, you've got to be careful. You just cannot afford to just take a decision before the ball is bowled. That's better. Another good over finishes. It's 128 for the loss of 4 wickets, India, and it's going to be time for a drinks interval.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
Things have settled down a little bit since Rishabh Pant departed. A bright and breezy 46 off just 45 balls. Since then, Shreyas Ayers comes to the crease. He's on 10 off 26. Cheteshwar Pujara currently being Cheteshwar Pujara, 27 off 71. Had a life on 12. Tough chance for Nurul Hassan behind the stumps, but it wasn't taken. And
He is still there. Can he get India up to a decent score here? Tajul Islam's been the pick of the bowlers so far. I haven't seen him so far in this afternoon session. 2 for 34 for him. 1 for Khalid Ahmed, who's been very, very accurate. And Mahidi Hassan Miraj chips in with the big wicket of Rishabh Pant. Let's talk you through the 4 wickets then that we've seen. First of all, Shubman Gill, who going on really well until he tried to play dab, sweep shot. Rahul similar, very angry with himself, threw his hands at that delivery that wasn't quite there to hit Virat Kohli, done by the spin of Tajul Islam. That was reviewed, but it was out. And then Rishabh Pant done by variation of Mahidi Hassan Miraj. Ball that went straight on, really good bit of bowling, and the dangerous innings came to an end. These two, since then, have put on 16, take the score up to 128 for 4. But India, having won the toss and decided to bat first, would have hoped for a slightly better start. Sanjay?
And typical Pant. Just puts the pressure right back on the bowlers, takes the odd risk. He's got the ability, he's got the power, and a very sharp batting mind as well. That's one of his favorite shots these days, the square cut. Plays the pull against the faster bowlers, the spinners. Unfortunately for India, it didn't last too long, or he would have quickly taken the match away from Bangladesh. So it's back to Pujara now to hold 4. And Shreyas Iyer playing his second test match away from India. Struggling young lad, Taskin Ahmed, not playing this test match. He's one of the many fast bowlers that's coming through the Bangladeshi ranks junior level, and that's why Alan Donald, the bowling coach, very excited with the possibilities.
Yeah, it does seem like they've got the best batch they've had in a while at the moment, both for white ball and red ball cricket. Is Khalid Ahmed one of that batch? And right back on the money, he's been really accurate, hardly any width.
And I guess the big story is no Tajul in the last 1 hour. I can understand Mehdi Hassan coming in when Pant was creating some problems, get the off-spinner in, but the moment Pant was gone, I thought maybe an over or 2 and he'll go back to Tajul, who was the standout bowler. It's only Pant who put him off a little bit, so really surprised that he had such a long absence from bowling.
Away nicely by Pujara, continues to tick along, picks up another 2, and also we've only seen 1 over of Shakib Al Hasan, Bangladesh's captain, leading international wicket taker by a distance. He's bowled 1 of the first 40 overs, 2 right-handers in now, possibly a good time for him or Tajul, one of the left-arm spinners. See by that field exactly what the seam bowlers are trying to do here, exactly what Khalid Ahmed is trying to do. He's just trying to bowl as straight as possible.
It's actually interesting with this line that you just mentioned, and rightly so, looking at the pitch and what it has to offer to the seam bowlers. Very quickly, seam bowlers start bowling that stump line, and then you see this expected field one fielder on the leg side. They did that to KL Rahul as well. The moment they realized there's nothing much on the pitch. It's interesting for some batters, whatever the conditions, lines more of an issue than pitch conditions and other things. That's why you saw KL Rahul getting out to a ball outside the off stump and very comfortable to anything that was pitched in the stumps. And there's been a pattern to KL Rahul in the last couple of years. We'll try and show you. Now that's the offline delivery, because most of the time the bowler was on the stumps. This is the one time that he went wide and they got the wicket. Went away from the plans, got a wicket.
That's through the gap. It's going to run away towards deep third boundary, and it's going to get there. So a fifth boundary for Pujara. Fourth, beg your pardon. He moves on to 33.
One of those rare occasions when the ball has climbed up well over waist high. Wasn't a bouncer, just a short delivery. It's got some bounce. Pujara is a fine player of pace and bounce. Has 300s in one test series in Australia to his credit. Running that down nicely for a 4.
Just enough width from that occasion for him to be able to play that shot. Six off the over, 134 for 4.
অফিস থেকে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্টটাকে আউট না করলে ঘরে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্টটা কই পেতে শুনি? ভালোবাসার সুন্দর গল্পগুলো তো সুন্দর কিছু থেকেই শুরু হয়। নান্দনিক ডিজাইন, পুরো স্টেনলেস স্টিল দিয়ে তৈরি। গাজি সিং কিচেনটা সুন্দর করে, সংসারটাও।
Shreyas Iyer and Pujara rebuilding 22 of 56 at the moment. They need a partnership to go up and beyond that 64 of Pant and Pujara to India. They're going to take advantage of winning the toss here and batting first. At the moment, you'd say the Bangladeshi fans are happier with where they are. Especially if they get one more wicket. It's quite an important partnership, this important period. One more wicket, you're through to the all-rounders. Kitty is going to continue. Two men catching on the leg side for Shreyas Iyer, who struggled a bit in the previous over. Inside edge. That might have led to the decision to keep Mehdi Hassan Miraz on in terms of the bowling. Up and over. He can be very aggressive to the spin. Shreyas Iyer. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 4.
Was one of the young generation of Indian batters who are at home in white ball cricket in T20s and 50s cricket, so this is not an issue at all. They set their minds on clearing the field. Easily done.
He plays that shot very well. We saw it in the one-day international series. Comes down the track. It's between long on and deep mid-wicket. That's worked off the back foot. Beats the man as well in the ring. He's going to run away for a couple. Productive over so far.
It's a hard man to pin down. Shreyas Iyer goes buried.
Goes back and cuts through the offside. Class batting this. He's gone down the track and hit over the top on the leg side. Then he's rocked back and cut for 4. 10 off the over. 144 for 4.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
It's a daunting batting lineup, but already 4 are back in the pavilion. Rahul, Gill, Kohli, punt. It's now on to Pujara and Iyer before we get through to Ashwin, Akshar Patel, and then very much the bowlers after that. And you'll want a few more from these two. Good chance, you'd say, for the likes of Shreyas Iyer to continue his development in Test cricket. Here he is. You've got what you wanted, Sanjay. Taijul Islam back into the attack.
Well, I thought it would be from the other end because Mehdi Hassan has been going for some runs, so would have been the obvious replacement, but he's taken the other end, the seamless end. Yeah, maybe the first time you're seeing spin from that other end, which is the Walton end. Spinners have bowled mostly from the killer Gene's end. That's where they've made their kill.
It's normally what we see on News 100, killer Genes. Let's watch the last delivery of the previous over. Look how he rocked back really quickly there. No one at cover point. A rare delivery that we've seen spinners able to cut off the spinners. Batters rather, able to cut off the spinners. Bit of spin there already for Taijul Islam.
Trishul Pujara doing his thing. It's been the case with Indian Test cricket for many years now. A lot of the time the spotlight is clearly on people like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, there's Rishabh Pant, but this is the default setting, the Pujara setting, on which the Indian batting works in Test match cricket. So much has happened, but Pujara is still there. Let's not forget he's had to make another comeback into this Indian Test team, was left out of the playing 11 in the home series, and came back in that one Test match at Birmingham, got runs in both innings.
He's not a man you want to drop early in his innings, that's for sure. Taking advantage at the moment. Dropped on 12, 144 for 4.
কাজটা নিরাপদ হোক পথ চলা।
Mehdi went for 10 in his previous over, but Shakib Al Hassan retaining his services. He has been quite expensive. 4.44 so far in his 9 overs, 1 for 40, and they've stationed a long on out there to try and cut off that shot over the top from Shreyas Iyer. Moves around and then plays something you'd normally see in a T20 match. Bit of a dab, scoop round the leg side. A lot of movement before that.
And I'm going to depend on you, Matt, to describe the shot. What do you call this?
It's like he's sort of got a frying pan out or something, tossing a pancake sort of thing.
Yeah, wanted to play the paddle sweep or whatever, ended up, I think, playing a very vintage kind of leg glance.
Sometimes you can have too many options, can't you, as a batter, especially now in the T20 era. It looked like he was thinking in about 3 shots before he played one there.
Interesting that they've made a very important decision on Taijul. Not only has he not bowled for an hour after lunch, he's back in the attack now, but from the other end, not from the end from which he picked up a couple of very good wickets. But I guess Mehdi's recent form with the ball and his overall pedigree as a spinner also gives him that kind of, gets that preference from the captain, and also getting the wicket of punt. It's a big deal, so he's getting a lot of support from his captain, but just hope they don't look back at this as one of the tactical errors, because Taijul was the man really with the ball in the possession.
And now both these batsmen are set, really. Ayers faced 37 balls, Pujara 83. $147 for 4. Very pleasant day here in Chattogram. Not too hot at all. Around about 27, 28 degrees. A little bit of a breeze that comes through on occasion. Good weather for cricket.
Here's some of my learned colleagues from behind the commentary box wondering why Shakib Hassan is not bowling, which is a pretty valid thought. Just the one over so far. He came in before Taijul this morning. Just the one over. Of course, they believe that the two right-handers, no harm in bowling two left-arm spinners.
Oh, that has turned. It hasn't bounced, though. Well taken by Nurul in the end. Past the outside edge.
And I guess exactly for this reason you want a left-arm spinner to a right-hander. And again, credit to this man, getting that ball to turn. Pulls it quite quickly. At 185 kilometers per hour, turning.
Going back to Shakib, I think possibly a reason why he hasn't bowled is I'm not sure he's 100% fit at the moment. Speaking of fitness, physio's come on. Just have a look at Nurul. I think he got one on the end of the finger, taking that ball that skidded through. He's got a lot of fingers taped up there. Classic wicketkeeper's probably broken a few digits. Let's see if we can see where this struck him. Well, it looked like it kind of went in okay, but it obviously didn't. Delayed reaction. You never know, maybe he's got one that he broke recently, that every time he hits it, the old pain comes back, a dislocation perhaps.
Quite right, the tough job. As you can see, some plasters on his fingers, and I don't think I've seen a keeper without strapping on his fingers inside his wicket-keeping gloves. Take a battering. This keeper, something that we don't even pay attention to every time the ball goes back. We don't even talk about it, but it's taking quite a beating, those gloves and the fingers inside the gloves.
They've got really gnarly fingers, haven't they? Retired wicket keepers. Any come to mind that you've met that have really weird looking hands?
Actually, there's a little story around keepers, Australian keepers, where Ian Chappell was once asked about who he thought was the better keeper, whether it was Rodney Marsh or Ian Healy. And he said, have a look at their fingers. And Rodney Marsh, I believe, didn't have those kind of fingers, crooked fingers that come from dislocating your fingers. You collected the ball wrongly or the odd mishap. That was his way of saying Rodney was better.
Well, he must have been a good golfer if he didn't have any disfigured fingers, because virtually every wicketkeeper has them. It's just the peril of the job, isn't it? They take it as part of the job, don't they? Right, a bit of a break. If you've got a break here in Chattogram, there is quite a lot to do, particularly if you head down to the beach. Lots of beach cricket going on. As you'd expect, they're absolutely mad for the game here. And the sun's going down as well in particular. Beautiful time to play. It's a beautiful ship graveyard. Not too far from here. Patenga Beach is another one. Has a very different feel to Dhaka.
Yep. A very popular port in the subcontinent and of course in Bangladesh. But that pitch that we just saw there, not a pitch where you would want to hit the ball on the up.
It didn't look like it had much bounce actually. Fairly similar to here. So talking about why Shaki may have only bowled one over. Well, apparently he was touch and go as to whether he was going to play in this test match. Got hit in the ribs by Umran Malik in the second ODI. Really worked him over. So that was an issue. And then he's had a long-standing shoulder problem. Apparently he went to hospital yesterday morning. Not sure whether it was for the shoulder or for the ribs. But to get something checked out and then returned and was able to net. So there obviously is an issue there. Wonder if it's hampering his bowling.
He's got skills, that's for sure. Good player of spin, Shreyas Iyer. Saw that in the last shot that he played. It was good leg delivery with the turn, just hitting it in the gap. It's a good ball, it's a good leg. You can see how he's opened the face. Because he has a wonderful gift of timing. Had that not been, the pace wasn't taken off, who knows, could have been poor as well.
Tell you what, it's exciting watching Pujara against spin because although he doesn't necessarily dominate the whole time, he's very keen to get down the track. So things happen constantly. Definitely interested if you're in a bad pad.
Oh yes,
That is something that he does very rarely, defending from the crease. Now that is his MO against spinners. Goes down the pitch, not with the intention of attacking, but just to put the ball out of harm's way when it sees fielders close to the bat. Nathan Lyon knows that well about Pujara. He got 300s against him in a series doing that. 149 for 4.
Last 3 years haven't been the best for Cheteshwar Pujara, averaging 36 this year, which is an improvement on the past 2 years, but look at how well he started. 2013, 2015, 16, 17, great years. Been a stalwart of this Indian side for a very long time now. When he was at his productive best, he was absolutely sensational. Runs all over the world. In Australia in particular, got an excellent record against Australia.
Yeah, when I look at Pujara and just looking at those numbers, his entire career sort of, flies past.
Back cuts. Well played. Big space out there. Is he going to run away to the boundary? Just short. Fielder's done well there. That's possibly one of the longest parts of the boundary. They come back for 3.
Yeah, one of the advantages that you get as a batter when you're repeatedly going down the pitch, the bowler is aware of that your intent, and sometimes gets a little too short that he wouldn't otherwise to a batter who plays from the crease or generally plays off the front foot, back foot. But Pujara is one of the very rare batters in today's cricket. Goes down the pitch to defend against spinners, whether it's left arm spin or off spin. Well played. Could be two here, yeah. Good running. Angled the ball well there behind square. So Pujara enjoying his first test match in Bangladesh, but he enjoys playing against Bangladesh. 4 innings, 4 50s. So he's just 13 runs away from a 5th consecutive 50 against the Tigers. And he's also not too far away now from a significant milestone. He's 40 runs off, going past Dilip Vengsarkar as the 8th leading Test run scorer for India. Needs to get to 77. Another decent over for India, 6 from it, 155 for 4.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
It's turning out to be a decent partnership for India. Both are looking settled. Arjun.
Wow, Jackie was a gamer. Great. Great, Jackie.
Beautiful sight, isn't it? A lot of work being done around. You can see there's elevated expressway.
Whoa!
Not just here in Chattogram, but also in Dhaka.
Great, TJ. Great, TJ.
India wants this partnership to go bigger. I just have a feeling that perhaps Mehdi and Raj was kept on for a very long time. We didn't see Tajul Islam for 1 hour, 10 minutes. Missing from the attack. He's the one who created the chances. I thought he should have been on. He has a niggling injury, that's the reason why he's not bowling. A very good afternoon to Brett Hawk.
Thanks very much, Atar. I thought Mahidi had bowled well. He got Plant out and then kept the pressure on the 2 right-handers. He had Pujara just strangled out one end. Pujara couldn't get off strike. And then all of a sudden there was a single. I got on strike and I hadn't faced him for a while. He was a bit tentative. Then I started to feel comfortable against Mahidi. Drove him down the ground for 4. Then cut him for 4. And then all of a sudden, that particular over, both batsmen got on top of Mahidi. Totally agree with you, Atar. Probably had Mahidi on for 1 or 2 overs too long. Should have got the left arm off spinner on earlier. 158 for 4.
পানির প্রয়োজনে আমরা আছি সবসময় আপনার পাশে। পাল্টে দিয়েছি দৃষ্টির সীমারেখা, পাল্টে দিয়েছি বাংলাদেশের দিগন্তরেখা।
বাংলাদেশের সর্বাধিক ব্যবহৃত পানির ট্যাঙ্ক গাজী ট্যাঙ্ক। গাজী প্রথম, গাজী সেরা।
They 41 had it for the opening pair, and then they lost in the space of 38 deliveries. They lost 3 wickets. Ant and Pujara were looking good with that partnership of 64 before he was deceived by Maidis and Miraj. And now, once again, it's a good partnership. Well, there he is now. Shakib Al Hassan, he feels that yes, he's ready to bowl. Yeah, the reason for me to say that Taijul Islam should have been in the attack because of the fact that there were 2 right-handers in the middle. I can understand when Rishabh Pant was in. You can understand the thinking behind having someone like Maidis and Miraj in the attack. Once he got out, I thought immediately Taijul Islam should have been in action. Shakib bringing himself on now, replacing Maidis and Miraj. Just the 1 over earlier.
I think the other reason why Tajul didn't bowl earlier on in their second session is probably because he bowled 12 overs in that first session. So just wanted to make sure they didn't wear him out too early in this 2 test match series. He's going to have a lot of work to do.
And he's used to bowling long spells, don't forget that, Brad. Taijul Islam usually bowls very long spells. "47 overs on debut. It will be not really looking in that direction. As long as the captain has enough faith, he will be in the attack. Started well here, Shakib Al Hassan. Bowling on stumps.
All of a sudden, the footwork of Shreyas Iyer slowed down. Two left arm off spinners operating, turning the ball away from the right-hander. The odd one straightening up, so he's a little bit more cautious.
I thought that was too close to cut, wasn't it? All of a sudden you see the Indian batter taking a few chances. The one that single not there. Sent back by Shreyas Iyer. Starts for the maiden. 158 for 4.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, Shakib has gone with 2 seam and 3 spinners all being involved now. Tajul will be the pick of the bowler, 2 for 39. I thought Khalid also bowled really nicely on the surface. Tajul will continue the 2 men in the catching position. And it's a sort of a pitch where the batters feel that they're not set, even if they batted for a longer period of time. 91 deliveries for Pujara, he's on 37, 55 for Shreyas Iyer. But just been a little bit circumspect because the odd ball has turned and kept low. this over, Turnip nearly picked up a wicket. I mentioned was too close to cut. Have a closer look here. Yeah. Keeper once again. Just the bottom part of the bat. And this could not hold
Ball,
it.
Chris. Great ball, great DJ.
If you're going to have a crack at Narul for dropping that one, Atar, you're a tough taskmaster. Tough chance that for the keeper.
Oh, Khaled.
Yeah, it was tough, but you need to be really up on your toes when there isn't a chance which comes your way. It's been difficult. That's the second time from the keeper. Not holding on to a difficult one. Again, the inside part of the bat. He will keep the strike. 159 for 4. $159 for 4. Ashwin expected to come in next, but this is the partnership. I reckon the all-important partnership for India. They're looking to put pressure on Bangladesh. This partnership needs to go along for a longer period of time. 48 the partnership now. And it's not been that sort of a surface when the batter is set. It thinks yes, hard work has been
Great ball,
done.
great sack.
I can play my shots and be at ease. No. You got to be spot on in terms of which one you want to play and which one to leave. Yeah, the spinners have been attractive, very attractive, ensuring the batters play each and every delivery.
Ball, Saqib.
Variation in pace there from
Great Saqib, great Saqib.
Shakib.
Shabash, Saqib bhai.
Love the field here too. No one behind, square on the leg side, so asking Shreyas to sweep from outside off stump
Ball,
if he wants to try and find value and find a boundary. It's the end of the over, 160 for 4.
পথের জন্যই তো চলার জন্য। পথের জন্মই তো চলার জন্য। এই পথ কখনো নিয়ে যায় গন্তব্যে, কখনো পথটাই হয়ে যায় গন্তব্য। কেউ খোঁজে পথের দিশা, কেউ এ পথেই খুঁজে পায় নিজেকে। এ পথে কেউ হারাবে, কেউ এ পথেই জিতবে। যতদিন চাকা ঘুরবে, ততদিন পথ চলবে। এই পথ চলা হোক নিরাপদ। গাজী টায়ারের সাথে।
Yeah, head to head. Both these teams, Bangladesh, in Bangladesh, 8 matches overall, 11. India, by far, better team.
Ball, AK.
Very comfortable in achieving this result against Bangladesh.
Ball, Chris.
And that's one of the things that India will be hoping for, knowing that how well they have played in the past against Bangladesh. It's been a slow but a good recovery. At one stage they were 48 for 3. is a taste of a ball. Really enjoying Tajul's spell, his craft. Just well flighted delivery. Extra flight gets extra drop, and the extra drop creates a little bit more purchase on the pitch. Where he gets the turn and then follows up with a straighter one and gets the inside edge. Beautiful bowling. India also have picked 3 spinners in today's match. And every one of them will be looking at very closely, taking a look at what the surface is doing in terms of the spinners. That is a beautiful, beautiful delivery. All it needed to just a touch, tickle. 160 for 4. Bangladesh has never won a test match against India. And the kind of start they had, especially when those 3 wickets fell in quick time, Bangladesh would have, at that stage of the game, would have hoped for better things in terms of picking more wickets. Yes, they did create chances. Once they failed to pick up those chances, the batters started to look a little bit more comfortable. Intentionally played over the top of the cover fielder. It'll be a boundary. Lovely touch from Shreyas Iyer. Brings up the 50 partnership. Patience, patience, patience. And then when the experienced Shakib slightly over pitches, Iyer takes full toll. There's a safe shot. Hitting with the spin over cover. It's so very important to pick up the right ones because the odd ball has kept low, and as I said earlier, it has also a bit of a turn available for the spinners. This has been a good partnership. It has taken its time. There's no problem whatsoever. Were bowled from Shakib Al Hasan. He's taken his time, making sure both these batters keep on batting. Shakib will be hoping that he can create a few more chances here. The ball coming back in with the arm, gets defended. 164 for 4.
বন্ধু ভাই টিভিসি ভাই কোনটা কিনবো?
গাজী টিভিসি ব্যাগ নাও। বাজার আসার পর থেকে খালি গাজী আর গাজী।
কিন্তু কয়দিন আর টিকবো?
অবশ্যই টিকবো। গাজী পণ্য 20 বছর ধরে কোয়ালিটিতে সেরা।
সর্বোৎকৃষ্ট কাঁচামালে তৈরি গাজী পিভিসি পাইপ, আগাগোড়া মজবুত, বাংলাদেশের সেরা পাইপ।
গাজী প্রথম, গাজী সেরা।
গাজী গ্রুপ।
This is the difficulty of facing Tajul. Just a slow one, flighted, gets a bit of turn. Then a flatter one, straighter, doesn't turn as much, gets the inside edge. Beautiful bowling, applying pressure to the Indian batsman.
Oh yeah.
What he also does is he mixes the pace. He'll mix it up If he wants to toss it up, it'll be at a different speed, and then he darts one in onto the stumps. Really good variation from Tajul Islam.
Whoa!
Oh, bold. He's getting a bit of a grip. Already seen in the last couple of overs from even Shakib, there has been some more turn available.
Oh, yeah.
Will crossover for a single.
Thinking about it, putting a deep square in play, but no, he comes back in for Shreyas Iyer, trying to tempt Iyer to play against the spin with a sweep shot.
Well, that's it.
Trying to tempt him to play that shot off the stumps, trying to create a top edge, or if it keeps low, get him trapped LBW.
Oh, yeah.
165 for 4. Speed comparison now for Shakib and Tajul Islam. Tajul just pulled it slightly quicker and also slightly slower than Shakib, who can look at those fast and the slowest deliveries.
Oh, yeah. Great sack, great sack.
As a batter, if you're willing to spend time in the middle, you will score runs. Make no mistake. There's been a good hunting grounds in the past for the batters and the teams.
Oh, that's it. Sack.
In the year 2018, at this venue, Sri Lanka piled up 713 for 9. And quite a few scores above 500 at this venue.
Oh, that's it.
Because the nature of the pitch changes. There was something in for the bowlers earlier on, but then it just settles down. Big support for Shakib Al Hassan.
Oh, that's it.
Inside edge, not a single there.
Shakib hasn't got the bat pad in for himself. He's not getting as much bounce as his teammate out the other end. All of a sudden, just with that shot, he's decided to make the change. Short cover goes into catching short leg.
Boy.
That's a big individual scores. 5 double hundreds at this venue and a triple hundred by the majestic Kumar Sangakkara in the year 2014 when he made 319.
Oh, yes, great sack.
165 for 4.
অফিস থেকে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্টটাকে আউট না করলে ঘরে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্টটা কই পেতে শুনি? ভালোবাসার সুন্দর গল্পগুলো তো সুন্দর কিছু থেকেই শুরু হয়। নান্দনিক ডিজাইন, পুরো স্টেনলেস স্টিল দিয়ে তৈরি। গাজী সিং কিচেনটা সুন্দর করে সংসারটাও।
some big team scores, but individual scores it's hard. But you've got a list there of 7 players, 200 or plus, and one of the greatest batsmen from Australia is in that list. Be interested in getting that list out for the viewers.
The batter that you are,
Ball
the
time.
batter from Australia, went by the name of Jason Gillespie. He smashed an unbeaten 201 in the year 2006, and after that, never played Test match cricket.
Ball time.
There's some others who have managed to pick up a double hundred at this venue. Yunus Khan in the year 2011, Kyle Mayers in that lovely chase in the 4th innings when he smashed 210 not out for West Indies. Neil McKenzie 226, Graham Smith 232, and I mentioned earlier Kumar Sangakkara 319. Well, at the moment, it's hard work for the batters. Runs have not come in good pace. They've taken their time. They just want to make sure that they do not lose another wicket from here on. If both these 2 batters go on to bat without getting dismissed, big total on offer from India.
Again, it's just patience, something short on offer. Trying not to do too much with it, but just rotating the scoreboard with another 2 runs. That's what you've got to do on this wicket. Try and do something that's not there. Play the percentages, work the 1s and 2s.
Ball set.
When there's a boundary on offer, make sure you make the most of it. 167 for 4.
A few went very close to picking up double hundreds. If you look at the bottom 4, we mentioned about the top 6. Angela Matthews recently missing out just by 1 run. Vishal Mendes 196. Michael Hassi 182, and Mohamed Ul Haq, the left-hander from Bangladesh, 181.
Great savvy, great savvy.
Surprise, surprise, Yasir Ali in the attack.
Get it.
You just look at this list. Jason Gillespie had the highest score on this venue in 2006. But during that innings, he was going through, knocking off milestones. Mark Wall hasn't got 100. When he went past there, he got on the manager's phone down T and sent a message to Mark Wall saying, I've just passed you as I've got a higher score than you in Test cricket, your highest score. So when he got to 201, he thought, right, there's no more records to break out this venue. We better pull stumps up and get back into Bangladesh with my bowling.
Oh, yeah.
Could have been dangerous. Had they gone for the single. I'm just thinking, what's the reason to have Yasir Ali in the attack? For the very first time in Test cricket, he's bowling. We will have to wait and see.
Oh yeah.
Still,
Go,
you
go, go,
have
go.
someone like Medius and Mirage if you want someone to come in and roll off spin. And throw the ball back to Medius and Mirage. Or maybe perhaps a change of ends. Or Shakib and Tajul Islam. We'll have to just wait and see.
What a play! Hey, beauty, Rabbi. Great, Rabbi, great. Hey!
This time he puts it away. It's just touch fuller and a little bit wider. And Shresha puts it away for a lovely boundary on the offside to finish the over. 174 for 4.
কাজটা নিরাপদ হোক পথ চলা।
Second session yielding 89 runs, but important for India. Just 1 wicket. Yep. 174 for 4. That certainly Bangladesh would have been happy in the first session, but India fighting hard, fighting back in the second session. With a partnership of 62 between Shreyas Iyer and Pujara. Yeah, this is what has happened so far. 174 for 4, but Shreyas Iyer 41 and 42 to Pujara. But there were starts for Rahul and Gill and also fun, but just couldn't carry on. You know, pick up the bowler, Tajul Islam 2 for 43. Mehdi among the wicket, but Khalid Ahmed also very impressive in his 10 overs. Yeah, we'll take a short break and we'll be back soon.
India lost 3 wickets in the morning session of day 1 here in Chattogram. Lost just the 1 in the afternoon session. It was that of Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer and Cheseshwar Pujara combining for so far an unbeaten partnership of 62, and a very important one as well. Pujara is there on 42 off 116 balls. He was dropped on 12, but he's got on to look pretty solid since then. Shreyas Iyer came in, also looked a little bit scratchy early on, but now looking very fluent. He's on 41, with Rishabh Pant having lit up the early part of the day and the session with a bright and breezy 46. They've used 6 bowlers, Bangladesh, 2 seamers and 4 spinners. Total Islam's been the pick of them, 2 for 43 for him. Nahidi's picked up the very important wicket of Punt, and also special mention to Khalid Ahmed. Not too much in the pitch for fast bowlers, but he's picked up 1 for 23 off 10 overs. So welcome to the League X Extra Innings show, powered by Lawman Page 3. That was a little bit better, wasn't it, from India's batsmen Arjun Chopra and Brad Hogg alongside me in the studio. Much needed, that last partnership.
It was, especially I thought the partnership between Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara was really a good one as well, and that was setting India onto a good path to going out there and putting a decent amount of runs on the board. But after the wicket of Rishabh Pant, everything went back to square one from where Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara partnership started, and all over again with Shreyas Iyer there. I think it's been one side of the stump or one side of the wicket where you can say that the runs have been flowing. From the other side, it's just caution. That's Cheteshwar Pujara, just caution being exercised, not to lose wickets. And that's not a bad ploy, but when you look at the day's play, by the end of the day's play, what's the score on the scoreboard? How many wickets have we lost? Could we have had a better average in terms of runs being scored? That's the time you would see and say, probably, yeah, if Cheteshwar Pujara could have got those 1s and 2s going. He's been stepping out nicely to the spinners, but he hasn't been able to pierce that gap. So the scoreboard isn't moving from Cheteshwar Pujara's end quicker or as quick as it has been moving from the other end.
Pujara doing it Pujara at the moment. And Shreyas Iyer's innings was very interesting, Brad. You pointed this out. He started off very scratchy against the spin, but once he got into his stride, he was very decisive.
Yeah, definitely. It was against Mahidi. He was looking to get on strike against Mahidi, but Pujara was just blocking, couldn't get off strike. All of a sudden, there was a lot of pressure there when Iyer got to face him. He wanted to go after him, and there were a couple of deliveries there. This is the start where he looked to sweep, and then the next ball that he got from Mahidi, he just planted that front foot, and he was unsure. But then the next over, he thought, right, I've had enough, went after him, and that shot there created this opportunity where he cut it behind square. All of a sudden, he got the authority on top of the spinners, and then Pujara started to get a little bit of run momentum in his innings as well. And that's partnership batting. But this is where Pujara sometimes comes undone because he puts too much pressure on the...
That was his way of saying Rodney was better. Well, he must have been a good godsman if we didn't have any disfigured fingers, because virtually every wicketkeeper has the... It's just the peril of the job, isn't it? They take it as part of the job, don't they? Right, a bit of a break. If you've got a break here in Chattogram, there is quite a lot to do, particularly if you head down to the beach. Lots of beach cricket going on. As you'd expect, they're absolutely mad for the game here. And the sun's going down as well in particular. Beautiful time to play. It's a beautiful ship graveyard. Not too far from here. Adenga Beach is another one. Has a very different feel to Dhaka.
Yep. A very popular port in the subcontinent and of course in Bangladesh. But that pitch that we just saw there, not a pitch where you would want to hit the ball on the up.
It didn't look like it had much bounce, actually. Very similar to here. So talking about why Shaki may have only bowled 1 over. Well, apparently he was touch and go as to whether he was going to play in this test match. Got hit in the ribs by Umran Malik in the second ODI. Really worked him over. So that was an issue. And then he's had a long-standing shoulder problem.
Apparently he went to hospital yesterday morning. Not sure whether it was for the shoulder or for the ribs, but to get something checked out and then returned and was able to net. So there obviously is an issue there. Wonder if it's hampering his bowling.
He's got skills, that's for sure. Good player of spin, Shreyas Iyer. We saw that in the last shot that he played. It was good length delivery with the turn, just hitting it in the gap. It's a good ball, it's good length. You can see how he's opened the face. Because he has a wonderful gift of timing. Had that not been, the pace wasn't taken off, who knows? Could have been 4 as well.
Bat. Tell you what's exciting watching Pujara against spin, because although he doesn't necessarily dominate the whole time, he's very keen to get down the track. So things happen constantly. Definitely interested if you're in a bat pad.
Oh yes,
That is something that he does very rarely, defending from the crease. Now that is his MO against spinners. Goes down the pitch, not with the intention of attacking, but just to put the ball out of harm's way when he sees fielders close to the bat.
oh yeah.
Nathan Lyon knows that well about Pujara. He got 300s against him in a series doing that. 149 for 4.
Last 3 years haven't been the best for Cheteshwar Pujara, averaging 36 this year, which is an improvement on the past 2 years, but look at how well he started. 2013, 2015, 16, 17, great years.
Oh yes.
Been a stalwart of this Indian side for a very long time now. When he was at his productive best, he was absolutely sensational. Runs all over the world. In Australia in particular, got an excellent record against Australia.
Oh yes.
Yeah, when I look at Pujara and just looking at those numbers, his entire career sort of, flies past.
Back cuts. Well played. Big space out there. Is he going to run away to the boundary? Just short. Fielder's done well there. That's possibly one of the longest parts of the boundary. They come back for 3.
Yeah, one of the advantages that you get as a batter when you're repeatedly going down the pitch, the bowler is aware of that your intent, and sometimes gets a little too short that he wouldn't otherwise to a batter who plays from the crease or generally plays off the front foot, back foot. But Pujara is one of the very rare batters in today's cricket. Goes down the pitch to defend against spinners with his left arm spin or off spin.
Well played. Could be 2 here, yeah. Good running. Angled the ball well there behind square. So Pujara enjoying his first test match in Bangladesh, but he enjoys playing against Bangladesh. 4 innings, 4 50s. So he's just 13 runs away from a 5th consecutive 50 against the Tigers. And he's also not too far away now from a significant milestone.
He's 40 runs off, going past Dilip Vengsarkar as the 8th leading Test run scorer for India. Needs to get to 77. Another decent over for India, 6 from it, 155 for 4.
Save the date as your favorite superstars will be back in action on the 26th of December. Watch live broadcast of your favorite clubs only on Rabbit Hole.
It's turning out to be a decent partnership for India. Both are looking settled. Arjun.
Wow, Jackie Lawson, Neymar, great. Great, Jackie.
Beautiful sight, isn't it? A lot of work being done around. You can see there's elevated expressway.
Whoa,
Not just here in Chattogram, but also in Dhaka.
Great, TJ, great, TJ.
India wants this partnership to go bigger. I just have a feeling that perhaps Medias and Raj was kept on for a very long time. We didn't see Tajul Islam for 1 hour, 10 minutes. Missing from the attack. He's the one who created the chances. I thought he should have been on. He has a niggling injury, that's the reason why he's not bowling. Very good afternoon to Brett Hawk.
Thanks very much, Atar. I thought Mahidi had bowled well. He got Plant out and then kept the pressure on the 2 right-handers. He had Pujara just strangled out one end. Pujara couldn't get off strike.
TJ.
And then all of a sudden there was a single. I got on strike and I hadn't faced him for a while. He was a bit tentative. Then I started to feel comfortable against Mahidi. Drove him down the ground for 4. Then cut him for 4. And then all of a sudden, that particular over, both batsmen got on top of Mahidi. Totally agree with you, Atar. Probably had
Matches and India are feeling the heat of playing Bangladesh at home, who are a pretty dangerous side when playing at home in suitable conditions. When play ended here on the final, on the second session of J1, the Pujara and Shreyas Iyer who got together to dig India out of the hole. They had a few lucky breaks. It was more the defiance of Pujara as always, and some modernism from Shreyas Iyer in the way he collected runs. It's a very good partnership and very critical. Shreyas Iyer showing his attacking vein as he always does, has an excellent test record, and he keeps that up as well as Pujara. Soon be joined by the others. Conditions, we are in the month of December here in the subcontinent, so understandably cooler.